Monster picks up with Dooku coming to Dathomir. He's concerned about the latest Jedi attack, unaware that the sisters are the very ones who sent the attackers, actually, and that his former apprentice Asajj Ventress was the one who led them. What a doofus. So he's come in his flying pumpkin seed to ask about an assassin to replace her. He was attacked after all, so what he needs is a bodyguard. But the Sith believe that the best defense is a good offense, so an assassin is really just a very specialized bodyguard. It's just that they work by killing anyone who doesn't like you. Naturally, this is going to require someone extra special.
You have heard of the Sith warrior, Darth Maul, have you not?
Yes. He was slain on Naboo at the hand of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Doing commercials for Red Roof Inn last time I checked. Poor bastard. So she offers up one of Maul's kin as the replacement, but she and Ventress are planning to program him to actually be loyal to the Night Sisters instead of to Dooku. But of course, first they're going to need to find their assassin, so that means going to the male settlement on Dathomir, because this episode has decided to pointlessly retcon some backstory elements. After Maul was created, he obviously had to have a race, so that was the Zabrak. And the same for Asajj, so she was the Ratataki that I mentioned last time. And they're both from this world. Fine, no problems there. So what if this wouldn't be the homeworld of those two species? Now, I live in Wisconsin, but my ancestors are from Europe. My neighbors are from Africa. There's nothing shocking about us both coming from different continents and living in the same new place. Unless you didn't know that there are people in the Midwest who aren't white. So why would it be surprising that there'd be Ratataki and Zabraks on the same planet and live there for generations? Well, inexplicably, they've decided that this does matter and requires fixing. So both Maul and Ventress are now retconned in as being neither species that were actually created solely because these two characters existed in the first place. They are in fact both the same species. Now, the only real good that might have come from this is saying, well, hey, at least they're not having that whole cross-species hybridization. They're avoiding that silliness. But the justification for them looking like they do is that this new race is the result of a cross-species hybridization between humans and Zabraks. Now, Maul is sometimes given the spin of a Dathomirian Zabrak, but by that logic, Asajj should also be called a Dathomirian Zabrak, as they are the same species. And anyway, point is, sometimes when you try to simplify something, all you do is overcomplicate it if you don't think it all the way through. So Asajj heads to the male village for the selection process, which normally means the chance to get laid in their propagation of this retcon species. But it'll actually be to find their assassin puppet. These guys don't have the same accent that Maul did, despite this supposedly being his home village, but I suppose it never made much sense in dubbing over his 3 lines so that we didn't have to listen to Ray Park's Scottish brogue. I mean, after all, wouldn't want anyone to picture Maul's people wearing kilts, would you?
What a fine-looking specimen. But looks aren't everything.
I'm looking for a soulmate. So die, worm!
Too small. Too weak.
You just had to say so you don't have to make me pee blood. So the rest will naturally be put through a series of trials to determine who it will be. And of course, these are lethal trials because settling for someone only slightly less successful than the best might actually increase our genetic diversity. You think the Mother Superior is wearing a hat? Nah, that's just to cover a massively deformed inbred head. So in the first trial, they are required to attack Asajj, one at a time in keeping with the I'm a martial arts god rule of entertainment. 2 of the participants are brothers, Feral and Savage. Savage, la-dee-da, Mr. French alien. Despite the severity of the attack, Savage still adheres to one of the oldest tenets of Dathorian male society. Bros before hoes. Gradually, this example of sideways Darwinism, where the strongest are taken and culled, save for the most strongest, so we have one pristine sample and all the rest are too weak to qualify, leaves only Savage and Feral, who plan to work together against Asajj rather than compete for her. Sure wish we devoted this kind of engineering to our crap hole village, huh, brother? They do their best, but Asajj soon has Feral in a force choke, proving how not strong he is by his inability to stop something that 2 renowned Jedi were unable to escape from. Savage intercedes, declaring that you can take their lives, but you cannot take their freedom! Actually, what he wants her to do is spare Feral, so she agrees to take him as her champion, after kicking his ass for a while first.
Such hate. The sheer power of it. A tremendous gift from the Galaxy Mother. He will serve us well.
We'll probably want to have that fixed. We don't want our master assassin knocked over if someone flicks him in the forehead. So he gets a chance on the sacred altar of weird shit while they do their voodoo. Ah! He's got the rat ghoul plague! Quick, everybody, gather around him so when he explodes we can get infected too! Thanks to all this, Asajj is now truly powerful. Wonder what the first thing he'll do is. Oh, what a surprise! Now let's see how you like it. But the final test is Asajj being ordered to kill Farrell, and while he at first silently refuses, he soon does, calling him a weakling. One of the common themes about the descent into the dark side in Star Wars is that it begins in the most noble of emotions, but twists them into something else. Vader's love for his wife and fear for her survival drove him to take any action to preserve it. And Luke nearly did the same thing when Vader suggested to take Leia and twist her to the dark side. Asajj's love for her master turned to hate when she saw him gunned down. And Asajj himself surrendered to spare his brother's life. The warnings of Yoda throughout have been accused of being cold and out of touch, and there's some truth to that. But there is an unpleasant reality in his observations, that these attachments can ultimately lead to the dark side, and even worse, to destroy those very attachments in the process. Vader lost his wife. Asajj hunts her master's kin. Luke would have taken Vader's place as the symbol of all his sister fought to topple. And Asajj has now contemptuously killed the brother that he had struggled to save. The dark side takes the emotion of love and prods it with fear of loss, turns it from an emotion that says, I care more about you than anything else, and focuses it inward, away from the target of the affection, and instead on the impact upon yourself. Turns a selfless feeling into a selfish one. And so one is forced into a Faustian bargain to achieve power, believing it's to protect others, but in reality, it's only for self-serving reasons, and in the end, self-interest becomes the true master. But with this done, it's time to deliver him to his new master, who could probably use this pick-me-up after finding out that he'll have to build an addition onto his house to have room for his new spice rack. Well, this should be good. A Darth Maul assassin to serve me, yes. Small, quick, acrobatic, the perfect replacement. Oh, God damn it! Why is nothing ever the way it's described in the catalog? All right, Gigantor, all your clothes and furniture are made for a guy about 5'9". I'm not made of money, so you're just going to have to deal with it. I'll be soaking in the swimming pool. I keep it in my desk drawer. Asajj's first assignment is a temple on Devron, which is really being used as a military outpost. He can certainly be an asset to the, Sure, I'm glad he's on our side, huh, guys? Imagine what it'd be like if we were the enemy. And we're about to find out, as despite bringing an axe to a gunfight, he manages to take out the troops and then outbattle a Jedi. Now, I mentioned last time that I got the impression from the first part that this was a show geared towards children. Now, this episode obviously makes me question that, given the fact that we see the body of a child freshly murdered by a giant with an axe tossed about. Not something you normally see in children's programming, not since Cartoon Network canceled the Freddy Krueger Jr. and Friends Hour.
My lord.
Is it finished?
Yes. The temple has been taken.
Did you look inside the temple? There's an inside too? Well, Dooku's pretty pleased with how this worked out, boasting of how the two of them will rule the galaxy together. Yeah, I'm not seeing how Asajj is going to get a lot out of that. All he wants to do with the galaxy is hit it with his axe. But the question is how the Night Sisters are going to use him against his new master. For that, the conclusion to the Night Sisters trilogy, Witches of the Mist.